Welcome back, my lovelies. How's it going? Merry February. So today, guys, we're going to be watching another accents video. Like I've said a few times, I have a big interest in accents. Not just the accents from the UK, which I find very interesting as well, but accents in the US because there's so many of them. And I think I make a little game of it, like in my weird little head. Like I like to guess where people are from based on their accent. I just think it's so interesting. I've not come across an accent that I don't like as well, by the way. Big fan of all the accents. Anyway, so this video today is 10 accents that you will probably never hear again. So from the US as well. So that's a strange idea, isn't it? So why would you never hear of an accent again, or like upcoming in the future? Is it, I suppose there's probably a couple of reasons, isn't there? I would say the main reason maybe is that because, you know, we live in a smaller, better connected world these days, don't we? So maybe accents are becoming a bit more generalized. Do you find that in the US? Funnily enough, I don't actually think, I wouldn't say that about the accents in the UK. They're still very regional based, and I don't know, no one seems to be losing their accents. I think I've got a bizarre accent, which I know a few of you have have wondered whereabouts I'm from in the UK. So I would say my accent is a Cheshire accent, which supposedly is the most neutral accent in the UK. And it sounds like a really bizarre thing to say, but I think you've got elements of Liverpool Scouse going on there. I think you've got like a bit of a Midlands thing and just hints of Northern Wales. And I think that's what makes up my accent. But I know I have it because I have been across the UK, and whenever I've gone to different regions in the UK, I've had a handful of people, well, mixed actually. Some people think I'm from Liverpool. If I go down south, they ask if I'm from Liverpool. If I go up north, they think I'm a southerner. But a handful of people have identified it correctly and said, you got a Cheshire accent. I find it very, very interesting. Anyway, I've done enough talking already, guys. So yes, a reason why you would not hear an accent in the future. Maybe it's because the reason that a state has a particular accent is because obviously from its settlers. And yeah, I would have assumed maybe it's just becoming a little bit more of a generalized American accent. What do you think, guys? Help me out. Let me know in the comments if there's a more specific reason for why we wouldn't hear an accent ever again, which is so very sad because accents, it's a little bit of our heritage, isn't it? And you know, it's like wearing your heritage, but you're not wearing it. It's just noticeable from the way that you talk. Anyway, let's crack on with the video. I'm talking nonsense. I'm in a silly mood today. Guys, if you're enjoying these reactions as well, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much, my lovelies. If you're interested, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account, and that link is over here. And if you would like to help support this channel any further, I do have a Patreon account. If you fancy checking that out, that is in the description below.
In this video, you're going to hear 10 accents from around the United States, which you've probably never heard before and will probably never hear again.
Because they're disappearing, they're dying out.
And while I can't stop that happening, who knows? Maybe you can.
And we think by so doing, and if this is very successful, you could demonstrate to the people and to the advertisers your influence with the public. So I said to them, I'm not a gimmick guy. I've never been a gimmick guy.
That is a very interesting accent. Do you know, straight away, the first one that comes to mind is I know so many of you told me what this accent is called. Is it the Transatlantic accent, which is the one that we think of when we think of, you know, like old era Hollywood? And am I right in thinking, gosh, don't jump on me if this is completely incorrect? Is it that accent that a lot of Hollywood stars and radio voices personalities spoke with, and it was intentional to train people with this Transatlantic, is that what it's called, that accent, because they thought it would be just widely more easier for everyone to understand? Is that like it? I guess. So whenever we hear like 1940s like actors in Hollywood, that kind of time era, or you know, like radio interviews and things from the war times, if they're American, you tend to notice that they speak with this, not a generalized American accent, I'm sure it's that transatlantic accent. Is that right? And I think it's a wonderful accent. But obviously, that is going to be one of those accents that I think you're going to start hearing less and less as the years progress, because it was kind of, you know, created for a reason. A created accent. Isn't that a bizarre idea?
Awesome accent from the 1970s. Do you know what it is? If you had to write down the way he spoke, it would look like this. Pity it's just not the same anymore, and I'm really going to test your skills here.
Da kiddies, they all jumped on the bus, and there went the bus steaming at the schoolyard. I mean, sounded a bit, I don't even know why. Sounded a bit like Caribbean accent.
Your accent detector on?
I'll tell you one thing. We always say gum band, and it's a rubber band. And we say stand in line. And everybody else, especially up in New York and New Jersey, I've noticed they say stand on line.
Really?
When we go in the
Stand
house,
in
they
line,
say,
yeah.
we say we're going into red eye.
A fun summer in 1985. Can you hear a difference yet? It's hard to pinpoint why people spoke like this, but it grew from a huge bubbling cauldron of migrant workers from Europe, and some African Americans and those Scotch-Irish guys. Well, they came
I know it sounds bizarre, but I think that when she says about the inline, that's what we would say, stand in line. So maybe there's a connection.
up with all the fun words you still hear, like these. And one of those is the city's most famous word.
And the guy come in, he said, boys, I got some bad news for you guys. He was handing us out the pink slips. It was just like a shock, it's like coming to a house, like a tornado hits your house. You come home, there is nothing there. Right. And that's just what Duquesne was. Your job was done.
All I heard.
Oh, okay. I got what he said, but that is a really unusual accent. So there's definitely, I don't know, like influence from another country going on there. If I didn't know any better, to the untrained ear, I am very ignorant of a lot of American accents, but I would say, is there a little bit of a, I don't know, almost like a Hispanic twang? I'm totally wrong, but you know, to the untrained ear, that's kind of what it sounds like in a few of those words that he said.
It was tornado. Nowadays, it's the only area in the US where people still regularly pronounce words this way. It's famous for that.
Like if I was explaining to Yinz like what I do on Sundays, what my dad does. So he 7:45, he wakes up, he goes down to church, St. John Chrysostom. Then he comes home, he puts on his black and gold, heads on down to Heinz Field, meets up with my cousin Natalie Carapinas.
So,
and maybe it's because I hear obviously a lot of British accents a lot. That sounds like there is a big, like a Northern British accent influence there, but I couldn't tell you why. Like a handful of those words that he's just said, it almost sounds like quite Northern, almost a bit Geordie, like Newcastle.
Why is it fading away? I don't know, but the internet, in all its wisdom, voted it as the ugliest accent in America.
Oh, no!
That was me, but I've read far worse. I don't even want to say what I've heard, but if people aren't proud of their accents, they're going to change it, aren't they? And there's the famous word. It's the Yinzer accent of Pittsburgh.
Just read it to me and my dad when the power went
Yinzer.
out. Oh, geez, when the power went out? Did all Yin's food spoil? Because my pierogies went bad.
Some say it's too strong.
It almost sounds a little bit Australian. Just a handful of words. That is such a unique accent straight away. Any of these chaps speaking here, it does make you kind of listen up and you're like, oh, that's an accent I've not heard before.
Die. Others say it's already gone. If you personally know people who speak like this, I want to hear it in the comments. Why do I care? Well, I'm Olly Richards. I'm a linguist and an author. I've written a bunch of language books like these, and I've always loved hearing the accents of my students. So when I heard that my favorite accent is in hot water, I was mad. I had to find the truth. So what's next? Out of all the accents in America, can you think of one that sticks out like a gator in a swimming pool?
They had a big hole in close to this place where the woman would wash, and
See, I don't know enough of American accents to notice some less spoken ones, but I don't know, I like all the accents.
went in that to take a jump in there, and there was a good-sized alligator, I guess about 8 foot.
They're descendants of settlers who arrived from Nova Scotia in the 1700s, and only part of the state still speaks this way. Basically, country folk with a French twang in their voice.
I don't have any insurance.
I canceled mine too. You know who it's
Well, I didn't cancel mine.
My wife says, what if our house burns? I said, me, I don't care.
This is what you get when you mix a French-Canadian accent with a Southern American accent.
Oh, now immediately I'm thinking Louisiana, because there's a lot, I I love the Louisianan accent. I know there's probably a lot of regional variation there as well, but that southern drawl kind of accent, and it's got those wonderful French sounding notes to it. I love it. So immediately with this combination, that makes me think it's got to be from Louisiana.
But hear how much milder the accent is now. So what comes next? Because in the old days, they only spoke French, but then it was compulsory to get an English education, so they started speaking English.
I know a lot of y'all know what a couillon is, but if you don't know, I'll explain y'all that. That's somebody that the lights is on, the gate is down, but the train ain't coming, you know? And I got news for y'all. Everybody's family has at least one couillon in it.
This is what the old Cajuns sounded like, a very lovely accent that you'll hear in Louisiana. I don't mean Cajun French. Cajun French sounds like this.
Nous avons commencé l'anglais, and then changer la français, and changer back anglais.
I won't translate because I know you got that. Play it again if you didn't. But then he says something interesting.
Pourquoi ça va venir quand nous avons passé la français, ça va... C'est fini.
Well, that's tragic, and he doesn't have time to sit down with his grandkids and make them learn French if they don't want to. Problem is, nowadays, young people are choosing standard English. That's what Instagram and the media influence does, I'm afraid. But Cajun isn't the most endangered accent. There's one accent that's not only doomed, but the very ground the speakers walk on is doomed too. Before I tell you what it is, please help me make sure my channel is not doomed, and subscribe. It's easy, just click like, subscribe, and notifications. Merci. So about that...
I love it. Louisiana accent, I absolutely think it's fabulous. I love the way y'all talk. I love it. I'm not going to do try and imitate it because I will fail miserably. Oh, what a shame though. It's dying out. I thought at the beginning of this video. So I think a lot of accents are a bit endangered really because of younger generations wanting or feeling the need to have a more standardized accent, like generalized English. Okay, it's very, very sad. Oh, we should be proud of our accents.
Mortally wounded, doomed accent.
My wife, she's been dead 7 years now, going on 8. And I've been living here ever since, by myself. My daughter comes in to see me once in a while.
Sorry, there's no video, but these old recordings.
Once a month. That's a little bit of a southern accent. One of the southern states. I can't get it. Like around Georgia, maybe. No.
Recordings are gems. This man was born in the 1800s. Let's fast forward now to the 1970s.
Oh, they work hard. Most people around here work hard, but it's easy living. You don't have the hectic rushing around like you do in other places, especially in big urban or city. Country living, I guess, is a lot more relaxed.
Now, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that to me, again, the untrained, ignorant ear, this sounds like a southern accent, but it almost sounds like a mix between that transatlantic. I do apologise if it's not called that. That generalised Hollywood era kind of accent. It kind of sounds like a combination of that. Now, I know there's some unusual accents from Florida, which sound a little bit southern, but again, to the untrained ear, you wouldn't assume, I wouldn't have been like, oh yes, that sounds like a Florida accent. Do you know what I mean? There's a few variations there that don't sound that similar to each other. So I'm wondering if it's one of those.
It seems really weird that any Americans would sound like this, but if you think about it, even in the animal world, you get some unique creatures that only live in one place and make bizarre sounds. That's what happens when the other birds aren't telling you how to sing, like this guy.
Calling and cussing at me all day. She was behind the counter. She said, "It's a lie, Jack." I said, "Who's that, Mum?"
No, you won't hear this one anywhere else, only on Tangier Island. It's a tiny island community in the sea between Virginia and Maryland. The problem is there are only 400 to 500 of these people left, and the worst part is the sea level is rising and threatening the very existence of the island. The danger is real. Reminds me of that place where there's still a bit of pirate slang hanging about. Wonder if...
Is that what it is? Oh, okay, so there's kind of like a Cornwall kind of piratey kind of mix in with a southern accent there. Oh.
That one's endangered too. By the way, if you think this whole endangered accents thing is new, there was a headline in an Oregon newspaper, American dialects disappearing. Know what year that was published? 1960, which is about the same time they started making people say stuff into a microphone 2,500 miles away.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Just fine. How are you, sir? May I help you?
I'm on my way to Jekyll Island. I'd love to have the road information and...
All right, sir. Perhaps the state map and the routing would be the first thing you'd be interested in.
You know those guys who do research at universities? Well, in this state's main university, they're having a ton of fun comparing modern accents with old ones. You see, back in the 60s and 70s, they went around recording people to see how they talked and got themselves a huge stockpile. So now they listen to those recordings and they say the southern accent fell off a cliff with Generation X.
We have a black director of public safety, a black police chief, a black school superintendent. The president of the Chamber of Commerce is black. And we got such strong black leadership that I think at this particular point, you're right.
Maybe in all of this great tragedy, there will come some silver lining of understanding of the need for families to be closer and more attentive to each other, more loving, more compassionate, that society must pay attention to those who are destitute because of poverty.
So the change from...
That is... trying to pinpoint that second fella there. Oh, I can't place it. The first one, distinguishably, like one of the southern accents. You have to excuse me, guys. I know it's glaringly obvious which southern accents and how they sound so different, but I'm learning. I'm getting there. So I think I'm gonna hazard a guess. It's gonna be wrong. The first fella, is he from Florida? Every one of these accents that I don't recognize now is going to be Florida. So damn.
Baby boomers to Gen X was dramatic. Why? Well, it had already started changing after World War II when lots of young people moved south to big cities like this, and it's still happening.
As more people are coming in here, we're kind of like gaining new knowledge and like new ways to like say things, and particularly how to like pronounce or enunciate things. So
some people are not at all sad about it though. Are you? Well, if it isn't obvious yet, things aren't looking so peachy.
What's that say? No! Oh, is that a thing? I mean, controversially, is that a rude question? Guys, for our viewers from the US, have you ever found, if you yourself have a southern accent, have you ever found or felt judged in other parts of the US by your accent? I think that's awful. Why would you judge someone for having a southern American accent? Again, I do apologize. I'm very naive of these things, but I hope not. How rude.
Down in Georgia. But is this a bad sign for southern accents in general? No, not if country music has anything to say about it. Can you think of another accent that's doing the opposite of dying? Well, guess in the comments. We'll come back to this later. I promised you an accent you've probably never even heard of. Some people say it's all a myth. Others say it's an enigma.
Tough Tony from the Petrera. Maybe that's it. A side of market, side of the slot, whatever.
Yeah, the side of the slot guy.
Yeah.
This one should remind you of Irish English. It used to be a trademark of the Irish American community in a very particular district on the West Coast, where they started settling during the gold rush days. Have a listen.
They used to ask me when they got off the front end of the bus instead of the rear end, they'd say, are you from Brooklyn? I says, no, I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Sodom Market.
Later on, there were lots of Jewish people who joined them, and these guys had spent time on the East Coast, which explains why they sound a little bit New York. But it's already changed so dramatically, I really don't think you'll know it. They drop their R's, they say South instead of South, and you're going to hear a lot of glottal stops. Yes, in America.
Wow. We've been here since 1933, and we celebrate every year. It's a long time.
What do you think?
Oh, there is. It's like that little roll of that syllable there. There is a slight Irish sound to that. Where is that? Okay. I can't pinpoint it. He said, did he say? Are you? They thought he was from Boston, which is the East influence, I think, going on there. Oh, what accent is this? It's not. It's not Illinois, no? Oh, let's see.
Pretty cool, huh? But I have some sad news. This accent has been almost completely erased, lost forever. I'll stop keeping you in suspense. When some think of a San Francisco accent, they imagine a way of speaking known as the Mission Brogue, which was huge in the city in the 20th century. So
when I said Illinois, and they'd already said they settled from the gold rush in the West Coast. Ignore me.
some people still see the Mission Brogue as the quintessential San Francisco accent.
Things have changed. Yeah. Wasn't but a few years ago, though, a sandwich was 60 cents here, I believe.
That's right. You get a shot of ball whiskey, 10 cents.
So what's happened? Well, it's simple. The people who had the accent all left town, and the ones who moved in don't have it. Also, they're mostly dead. Listen, if there's no reason to change the way you speak, don't. In fact, do the opposite. Get curious. Accents are the art in the world of languages, and I don't want to live in a world where everyone's hanging the same paintings on their wall. Rather, save your speaking changes for a whole new language. That's where the real fun comes in. And if you don't know where to find a fun way to learn languages, maybe you'll like the way we do it here at Story Learning. We don't believe in the old-fashioned method, so we use a fantastic method that teaches language through story. It's a unique method I came up with when I realized that stories are the most natural way to remember pretty much anything, and it works really, really well. Whatever language you go for is going to stick in your head. And if you want to know how all this is possible, I've made you a little fun pack that shows you how it works. Just click the link in the description below or scan the QR code up in the corner of the screen and start having some fun with languages and accents. Okay, I'm not even American, and I got all emotional about the next one.
Mommy, you know that story about Mary and Joseph laid on the hay? Bible school teacher learned us, she had it up her day.
Where the baby Jesus lay on the hay?
Yeah.
Well, it's in that book too.
No.
So sweet. What accent is this, do you think? Let's take it back a few years.
It's a southern accent. I'm guessing. I am completely plucking at straws here. I'm gonna say, is it in the Tennessee region?
Come on, you know I've got a tune called The Dog Gets Gat. But I want us all to practice. I want to practice the first one. Because we're going to overhear the big sound at that contest, and I'm going to get the first prize.
Well, we may have a record find here. This is 1928.
First prize. I'm going to stand by that Tennessee region.
And there's a place in America where legends like Popcorn Sutton still spend their days making moonshine and talking like this.
I wouldn't say it would get any better, but I don't see how it could get any worse.
Low income is not what we are. We're poor people. I think low income is people that maybe has the way of just getting by, but poor people is the ones that don't know where the next dollar's coming from.
You'll hear it in states like West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and it was more than just the Scottish and Irish immigrants who started it. There were Cherokee and Shawnee, African American and Latino. Certain wonderful words out here all point to that.
I feel that white people has learnt more in the past few years from the colored people than they ever learnt in the past 200 or 300 years. The black people has proven to the world that a man has to fight for his freedom.
These mountains are full of colourful phrases.
Where was that actually from? What's that? No.
How many of these do you know? But the saddest thing that's happening to Appalachian English is the stigma that comes with it. It's stupid, really, but it's making young people leave the area and learn to speak so-called standard American so that they can fit in. All except for this guy. He's bringing banjo back.
My old hand, she won't do. She lays eggs for the railroad crew. Sometimes one, sometimes two. Sometimes enough for the whole damn crew.
I love it. Honestly, the way Appalachians speak is the coolest thing. It'll be an absolute tragedy for this to disappear, and I say they should keep doing it forever. But the next one,
music.
I'm too late to send in my objections. They say it will be completely gone in the next 50 years, and not just because the pirates are long dead.
Talk to people and they'll say, well, you got an Australian accent, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Chances are you've never heard someone speaking this way in real life. Or have you?
Well, I wanted to iron the dress to get the crease out of it where it had been taped up. And I went to every suite in that dorm, asking if they had iron I could borrow.
I've heard the iron, but I've heard it more from John Travolta's character from Hairspray. So it's Baltimore. Oh, gosh, I'm making a right fool of myself today. What state is Baltimore in? Say the iron. I think that's a southern state, isn't it? But is it on the coast? I can't remember.
Nobody had an arm. Nobody had an arm.
Some rumours claim the accent came from Cornish immigrants from the English West Country, but I've heard many arguments for and against, so who knows? I do know it was once the perfect den for pirates like Blackbeard to spy out the ships sailing by, and they had quite the party life here. Before that, it was the hunting grounds of a small tribe of Native Americans. There's a nice clue for you.
Yes.
Look, they're shooting suitcases, shooting luggage off. It's one of them that shoot stuff right.
It's not Carolina, is it? I'm cheating. I'm looking at the map. Is it Carolina? The pirates? That clear. I think that's Carolina, but is it north or south? I'm gonna say, is it?
Very hard, you know. So I said, I better get down and catch that. If you don't, it's like they're liable to bust.
What do you think? Sounds quite British, right? Well, the cool part is this dialect is a creation of its own. It was isolated for about 240 years. Hardly anyone even came visiting until the 1950s.
We toured on the South Shore. Last night, the water fart night moonshine, no fish. What are you supposed to matter is our Uncle Woods?
4 or 5 years ago in London, England.
That does sound a little bit Cornish. West Country. West Country sounds a bit like that.
And 2 or 3 people asked me over there did I have an Australian accent?
It's not Australian, okay? It is the last existing British accent in the United States, the Ocracoke Brogue.
The wind's blowing really hard. You said it's blowing harder than a pop car right there, you know.
You're taking a ride around the island.
That's where the iron.
But hold on, you can hear another version of this on the nearby mainland.
The crime rate is low, really, and the scenery is pretty. Ain't that many cars and stuff riding back and forth. You can walk up and down the road without worrying about getting hit by a car.
So this is Hyde County, a place...
I'm not sure. The lady that was narrating that video there, if you're watching this, you have a wonderful accent. I love accents, but her accent's lovely.
People call the backwoods of North Carolina, and I was warned that the Islanders won't like it if we say they have the same brogue as them. So we won't. Together they are called Outer Banks Brogue. But why is it in danger? Well, the numbers don't lie. There are probably only about 150 people who have this accent, but they're not planning on losing it, so who knows? But here it comes. No stopping their teenagers from hanging out with all the tourists. By the way, do you realise that listening to different accents helps you hear details better? You should care if you're trying to learn a new language. You could get really good at being able to understand native speakers. Okay, brace yourself. You won't want to believe the next one. Are you ready?
It's a pretty good store. I think it's all right. I got a good boss over here. He treats me good once in a while.
That sounds, again, to the untrained ear, that sounds like what we would interpret as a New York kind of accent. So I think it's from around that region, from the East Coast. Is it like around kind of New Jersey type? No?
How are the wages?
What?
The wages, the money, how much do you earn?
I don't like talking about that.
Oh, all right.
What's this?
Love
Could it be? I will give it to you straight. Even an iconic traditional accent can dramatically change if you water it down enough. And the originals of this city are just not the same crowd anymore. But what a fun accent it is.
Where is the soul? It's inside you. Where?
Where?
It's all around. It's not attached to anything.
That's New York,
It can't be
isn't
attached to you. Otherwise, it couldn't fly out of your body and go to heaven when you croak.
If you're wondering why they spoke this way right from the early days, not pronouncing R's and all that, it's because most of the English speakers came from South London at a time where Londoners started this trend because it was considered distinguished to do so, and it was still going strong in the 1980s.
Nice people, good, hard-working people, good ethnic groups, nice.
I thought it was a combination of the Italian migrants and the Irish. I thought it was more, I didn't think it was so much of the British, the Londoners. Oh, it's interesting.
Restaurants.
So this all this hood stuff is exaggerated.
Oh, yeah. Don't pay no attention to it. I lived here 63 years. Walk the streets, mind your business.
Yeah, it's all true. The accent of Brooklyn in New York is changing fast.
I am from Brooklyn, New York. What I miss is not the language, but the dialect. The Brooklyn accent is gone.
What happened to it? Where'd it go?
I went to California and I purposely lost it to fit in.
He's not joking. This is happening. It's pretty sad, but losing your accent has become part of a big business. That's what all those accent reduction people are advertising.
Where did it go? It goes where everything goes. It goes away.
As for that one accent that's unlikely to go anywhere, what was your guess? Well, I'll tell you. It's the way inner city African Americans talk. The ethnic identity is so strong, their accents are just getting stronger and even drawing outsiders in. You must be relieved if you got this far and your accent was not mentioned, but I'm not done yet, and you should probably ask yourself, is my accent about to die? Well, I hope not, but keep watching just to be sure.
The Salvation Army. Did he say he wasn't American? So am I right in thinking that the narrator here is Canadian? Is that right?
They ran a beautiful thing. And it was only coffee and donuts. There was no drinking and soda and music. All night you dance, dance, dance.
1931. Hear how she said soda? Soda. Lots more where that came from. It's a very recognizable twangy accent that people love to imitate, but we're going to keep it real.
There was a water fountain in the ferry house, and it smelled and tasted like the intake pipe went right through the floor into the river.
This accent has a distinct sound and deep roots in American history. It's pretty intriguing stuff if you want to become a researcher. And then along came the 80s punk rockers.
The music is the train and it makes your body move, you know? But if you have a good slam going, there could be like as many as like 40 or 50 people out there just like doing it.
This city has everything, but their accent is the most studied accent in the US today. And you know what? I think it may be in a spot of trouble because they're taking it seriously, analyzing people's speech patterns and so on. But the best part is they started doing this study more than a century ago. It's crazy. A million measurements later, all I know is 2/3 of the vowels in this accent are changing as we speak, and they're blaming women for leading the accent changes. Why? Tell you what, I'll leave that answer to you for now.
Everybody's like, yo, where's this at? Like, nobody had like a direct like location, so I was like, look out my window, I see a bunch of cops. I'm like, bro, that's right by my apartment.
Well, he definitely has not lost the accent. Want to try a quick experiment? Say snake in the grass, and then say
snake in the grass. I don't say grass because I'm not a southerner, so I say grass. Snake in the grass.
Say it again with your mouth wide open. I'll wait, go on.
Few moments later.
Here your
oh gosh, snake in the grass.
New pronunciation of snake? Well, that's exactly how it happens. Now let's rewind the time machine to meet a legend.
You're a crumb creep. I want to fight you.
Oh.
But you don't have the courage. You're a real crumb bum.
A crumb bum.
Put that on camera.
Now I have it on good authority that a crumb creep was a bad one. The days of good insults. And I'm pretty sure nobody wants the Philadelphia accent to die, so you'll be happy to know that while the Philly accent is changing, it's not disappearing as fast as the others. But with these...
So when I said Boston, I was completely wrong. Okay, don't make fun. Don't laugh too much. It's the Philly accent. Okay.
Generation, there's a slight difference. That's how it goes. I will just pray they'll be wrong about the next accent because it's my favorite. And if this one goes, wait, can they kill this accent?
Well, I think the mini will be here to stay. I think it's here to stay, and the maxi's just a fad, maybe for a while. I don't think it'll stay in very long.
Remember what I just said
Definitely
about women and the accent change in Philly? Well, guess what? It's happening here too. The local university is tracking this like a scout on a trail. People are writing weird stuff like popular accents are eroding the iconic twang. And I can't say what popular means to you, but a certain Californian accent was mentioned.
That's the reason why that I don't let more of them see me than are able to do so. It's because most of it is pressure. There would be pressure from some of the members of the legislature.
Well, isn't that something? It's only 1970, but if you ask me, this guy's trying to avoid the twang, which is not the way you're supposed to do it in Texas, is it?
As I got up in high school, I got to thinking, well, so many days these fellas are all going to be gone. Them old stories will be gone with them, you know. So I enjoyed them. I thought I'd write them down. Somebody else might enjoy them someday.
That is the smoothest, sleekest, warmest sounding accent. We love it, especially when you say that phrase. Maybe it's just me being weird. It's when you say it in that accent. Yes, ma'am. I love it. Feel it on my toes.
More like it. But if you trust the UT news, it seems like younger Texans are abandoning the diphthongs and stifling their twang. Why? To avoid sounding uneducated. Don't shoot the messenger. You got to admit they just don't sound the same in Dallas anymore.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know about sounding uneducated. I don't think that's fair at all. But, you know, you sound significantly cooler. Like, significantly more chilled out and laid back. I don't know. There is definitely like a stereotype or you know, an idea that goes along with it that if you have this accent, that you automatically have like the best manners, and you can talk anyone into anything. The charm. Oh yes, it's the charm. I don't know where the idea comes from. Maybe it's a British thing. Maybe we hear that accent and we associate it with charm, smooth, manners. I don't know.
I absolutely recommend Bishop Arts. By far, the atmosphere, the community, the sense of like a small town you get in Bishop Arts is pretty unmatched. It's the best place.
But I don't think this fight is over. Texan pride is huge, and the Texas accent is alive
Don't
and
mess
well.
with
In my
Texas.
next video, we've got the wildest accents from every corner of Texas. Go and check it out.
Ooh. Yeah, so obviously there's got to be regional variation in Texas because it is a huge state. So understandably, all of your inhabitants can't all have the same accent. There's going to be regional variations, isn't there? You know, if we look at the UK, we're a teeny weeny little island and we have so much variation in accents from one region to another. But oh my God, I'm kicking myself that I didn't get that last accent. It's one of my favorites as well. Yes. There are, I don't know where an awful lot of these stereotypes come from or these assumptions that we make based on accent. The one about being uneducated seems like it's really, really unfair. It's grossly unfair. I don't know where those harmful stereotypes come from, but for any of you viewers with a Texan accent, speaking on behalf of everyone in the UK, I think the stereotype that we have is, like I said, it's I don't know, it's a very, very warm sounding accent. It conveys charm. So I don't think there's anything that we would associate negatively with this accent. It sounds just utterly charming. It really does. Especially when you say that, yes, ma'am. Yes, please. I love it. I adore accents. I find them so interesting. Honestly, I'd like to watch another one on the UK accents because some of them are bizarre. Obviously, I hear them a lot more frequently than we hear the variety of accents from the US. Anyway, guys, if you're still with me at this point, thank you for watching, my lovelies. I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.